how CoKarma started, right? CoKarma started by chance. It was a sidekick. Started education technology startup and a tech startup.
How is it having your wife as your co-founder?
So I think it was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
So I met Tarun at one of these most coolest co-working spaces, CoKarma in Hyderabad. Some friend of mine sent this invite that there's an event happening at CoKarma, you should be there, it's a startup event. And I was like, okay, it's my first time, and it was at the Raidurg location. When I parked the car and I looked up and I saw the terrace, and there were like 100 odd people around standing, and so much noise was happening and a lot of talks. And I understood that, okay, they're all here for a reason, all around entrepreneurship. And I've never seen a co working space actually taking these initiatives to make it look like a community is being developed, right? And when I went up, I saw this like huge crowd genuinely listening to the speakers, to the panel, and that meant that there is serious value happening there. And I could say this is a great congregation point for a community building. So here Tarun is with me, and I'm so glad in that event I could meet him and we've been in touch. When I thought of starting Storyflow, I wanted to talk to him and hear his story as how he started a co-working space. We all know about the WeWork and all the other ones, but starting this in your own city is a big thing. I love the name CoKarma. Tell us how CoKarma was born.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for inviting me here.
My pleasure, totally.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Right, and I think it's a great initiative that you've taken up
Thank
to do
you
these
so
stories. How CoKarma started, right? So CoKarma started by chance, actually, right? It was a sidekick when we started. So what happened was I used to work and live in Australia,
Right.
and there had seen a couple of co-working spaces. And when I moved back to India, I wanted to start a education technology startup and a tech
Okay.
startup originally,
Yeah.
right? So and we were looking for spaces.
When was this?
This was 2014-15,
14, 15. Okay.
right? And so during that time, we thought, we need a space for 4-5 people. We don't need a large office.
Right,
If it's a co-working space around, then we will sort of work from there.
right,
And then I used to live in an area called Himayatnagar.
right.
And in that area at that time, co-working spaces were unheard of.
Right.
They were only like 1 or 2, people in near high-tech city who knew about co-working, and that was very far from our house.
Right.
So what we thought was, we said, we'll start a small 40-seater space, run our 4-5 people company from there, and the other space we'll give to other entrepreneurs that live around that area.
Nice.
And that's how CoKarma was born.
Okay. So it was need of the hour, which you really
It was a personal need,
appreciated.
right?
Yeah.
And then we thought that, we'll focus on our edtech company for, and then scale it up. And it so happened that, CoKarma started growing. So our first space filled up in no time. We thought that we'll start a second space, we'll double that, right? So we'll double that to about 80 seats, right? That got filled up in 17 days. And we felt that there is something here that we should do.
Did you lease these spaces?
We leased these spaces initially.
Okay.
Yeah. And we kept growing.
Right.
The story behind the name, because you mentioned the
I
name
love
as well.
The name, yes.
The concept is co-working,
Right.
And karma is also another name for working.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the idea behind CoKarma is we bring people together to
Yes.
do good work and
Right.
make the world a better place.
Lovely. It
So that's
makes
essentially
more
what
sense.
we are
Out of
trying to do.
all co-working spaces, I think you have the best name. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and that
you.
in an Indian context. Yeah.
I mean, karma is a global concept.
It
now.
is, yes.
It's like
I'm
how
sorry,
we've
yes.
taken yoga to the world.
Correct.
We've taken the word karma to the world.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's true. So when you just said that, my first spots filled up very fast, and then we looked at scaling up. So the good part for you as an entrepreneur is your first few customers were easy to get, right? But then the challenge comes is about sustenance and growth, right? So what were your challenges after your first few customers? Like, did you find any?
So to be honest, my first customer was my close friend.
Okay, yeah.
And till date, I'm very, thankful to him, grateful to him. But initially, the way we started getting customers was through a website. We built a, really small WordPress one-pager website. And because we were one of the few players, in the city, we were like the third or fourth player in the city,
Right.
and the only player in our area.
Right.
So co-working spaces are also very hyper-local. People want to go to the nearby spaces within the 3-5 kilometer range, right? So within that 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer range, CoKarma was the only space.
Right.
So people could, whenever they Google, they could find us easily, and they would sort of call us and they would come to us.
Right.
And that's been our strategy from day one. What we try and do is we don't try and sort of establish ourselves at one particular sort of IT corridor and just have a large building there. We try and spread ourselves in areas where there are people, right? So the way we think about the business is wherever there are people, there would be need for office spaces, and there would be need for groceries, right?
Yeah.
So and if there's a need for office spaces and groceries, there would be an opportunity for CoKarma to operate from there.
Right, residential point of view is what you're looking at, and then growing around those areas.
People point of view.
People point of view.
Right.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's a very smart thing to do. So you're saying that that time you were the only one in your area, right? And then when you scaled up, what were the challenges in terms of maybe leasing a bigger space, aesthetics, all of that? How did you do your first aesthetically done place? Yeah.
So again, that came by chance, right? So they say that as you sort of work hard, your chances of success or your luck becomes better. So what happened was when we were doing our second space, when we were trying to look for a space, there was a client that came to us and said, I need about 50-60 seats in about Gachibowli area. Can you find something for me, right? So, and then I said, okay, I'll find a space for you. I took my car and sort of drove around Gachibowli, High Tech City, Kondapur, these areas. First day I couldn't find anything on a Saturday. Then Sunday I sort of looked again. Again, I checked pretty much a lot of buildings. Couldn't find anything which could fit in his budget, which I liked, where we wanted to do something. And then I gave up. And then I said, okay, fine, I gave up. I don't think I can find anything for him. And I was driving back home. While I was driving back, I took a turn to a new road. I was like, I'll explore this road. This was 2018, right? So while I was driving, I found a building which said to let.
Okay.
And then I stopped my car. I said, what's the harm in calling one more person? And then I called that person. So that person said, okay, I'll come and show you the space. They showed me the building. They showed me the office.
Right.
It was beautifully already done.
Oh, okay.
Like it was a 4,500 square feet space. Half of the space was done for an animation studio.
Okay.
It was done for the son of the owner. And the remaining half he was going to use as a place to stay or a place where he had a kitchen where it wasn't done very it wasn't done the CoKarma way that we see currently. Right. So because I lived in Australia, I knew what aesthetically pleasing office spaces were.
They all look so stunning. Right?
And then I personally feel that I have a little bit of an eye for two things. One is talent and second is aesthetics, right? Whether it's our post or whether it's our spaces, right? So I felt that this is really nice, but I'm not sure if people will like it,
right?
Because it was new.
Yeah.
So there, the desk spaces are not white.
Okay.
It was wooden, tops.
Okay.
And then the lights and the ceiling was not white.
Right.
It was open ceiling. It was rugged look, raw finish. I liked it. It was an experience. So I thought half of the space I'll leave it like this. Right. Rest of the half I'll do the traditional way. And then when we started that space, people started liking the other one, industrial look. And I said, no brainer, right? So we picked that concept. We said that all the other CoKarma spaces from here on will be like this.
Oh. So you went to that new road and it changed a lot.
I made that call.
Yes.
In fact, on that call, right, they gave us a rental rate which was very high, which was double of what we were, what we wanted, almost double, right? So they said something around 50 rupees per square foot. Right. We said we'll take it for 30 rupees if you can give it. They said itna low to possible nahi. We also said that shayad possible nahi hoga. It's almost half.
Right.
2 days later, they gave us a call.
Okay.
And said, Tarun, space available hai, aap still interested ho? And then we went in.
That's the power of putting your proposal on table.
Correct.
Right? Most people think, I'm not going to get it, let's not put it. But you did put it.
People shy away.
Yes. So great. I also know that you have around 6 centers.
Yeah, so we have 6 live centers, but we are building 2 more. So we have 8 now.
Okay.
So from that small 40-seater space, we are about 2,400 seats now.
Wow,
in the city.
40 to 2,400. Where are all of these centers? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so our first center was in Himayat Nagar.
Right.
Then we did a couple of centers in Kondapur.
Right.
Then we did High Tech City, Madhapur, and then Madhapur and Begumpet we launched earlier this year. Now we are doing one center close to Google Hyderabad office, so just behind Google Hyderabad office, and then we are doing one near Neopolis in CoKarma. So we'll be one of the first centers, one of the first co-working in Neopolis.
Nice. Nice.
So these are the 8 locations.
You scaled up from that one side gig to your full-time 6 centers, right? How does scaling up feel like?
Scaling is scary, to be honest, especially in a space like ours, right?
Yes.
So, because co-working spaces are very capital intensive,
Right.
right? So, for example, if we have to do like a 10-20,000 square feet space, it'll cost just to set up the space between 2 to 4 crores. That's a lot of money.
Lot of money.
Whether it's your money, whether it's investors' money,
yeah.
right? Because your name and brand is sort of riding
Correct.
around this, right? So it's a lot of money.
Right.
So it's a little scary. So I think that we are still taking it step by step.
Right.
Right. There are so we're doing close to about 1,20,000 square feet currently in the city. There are players who have 15 lakh square feet.
Of course, yeah.
7 million, 8 million, 10 million square feet. The top 3-4 players. We come in probably top 10, but the top 3-4 players have a lot of space. So it's a little scary, but there's a lot of opportunity as well.
A lot of opportunity. Yeah, because when I wanted to rent up a small space for Humanize, I was looking all around, right? We had a chat as well. We like smaller startups, they do need seaters, but sometimes they also need a small space to like congregate with, right? So I know so many personally founders who are looking for smaller spaces where they don't have to do the aesthetics and it's already done.
Correct.
And because when employees actually come, the first few employees in a company, they bet on the founder, but they also have to get a regular motivation, and that comes from their environment, right?
True.
So this is a very cool space, right?
Thank you.
So how do you feel environment matters? Like how much have you seen the change of work productivity or work experience because of environment? Because you're in this space.
So I think a lot of our members love us.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for that is not just great aesthetics,
right,
but it's also a fact that they don't have to hire a facility manager to run their small, 20, 30 people, 50 people companies, right? So they just have to pay one bill and everything is taken care for them. So the electricity is taken care, their housekeeping is taken care, there is coffee in the coffee machine, their Wi-Fi always works. So these things just work for them. And what that means is they can focus on their business and they can focus on growing their companies.
Correct.
So that's one of the primary reasons that they love us, right? So, see, kapde aap kitne bhi sundar pehen lo, they have to fit well.
Correct.
They have to make logical sense. So it first makes logical sense for people to take co-working spaces when they are running small companies from 10 people to 200 people, right?
Right.
Secondly, it has to look beautiful so that every day it is motivating for them to come. And again, that motivation comes less from the space, more from the people around them.
Of course.
Because they see that energy around them.
Correct.
If somebody's having a down day, if they see another entrepreneur who is sort of celebrating or is in good energy, that sort of resonates with them and that sort of passes on to them, right? So that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. So many people have their first offices in co-working spaces, right? Like, so you must have had so many experiences like that, right? That first office that founder took was with you. Can you share any one example? If you can
any story from a founder that came to us? So we're a company called Honk.
Okay.
They came and took a 4-5 people space during COVID.
Okay.
Right, very very good founders, brilliant founders. So what they do is they service people's cars.
Okay.
Right, so they wash your car in your sort of community and they service your cars, right? It's an on-demand car servicing, car maintenance company.
Right.
So from that small 4-5 people space, they grew from that, raised funding from an accelerator firm. Then they went on to and took their own office. So they have a large office now where they run their entire company, and then they have other things as well. They need storage for their product.
Correct.
They need other things. So for those reasons, they are in their own sort of space now. And we see them scaling, we see them becoming big. I think it'll be one of the companies that will sort of come out of Hyderabad, become a unicorn.
Right.
And there are many such stories. I think
they started from your space.
They started from our space. Wow. They started with 4-5 people company, and they're, I think, close to
You're giving the foundation to so many founders. I know how it feels to sign up that one first agreement, that lock-in period, that space. You have to be so sure, and they put their faith in you and your space.
Right.
So that's so nice.
And we have to live up to it.
Yes. Yeah.
If we don't live up to it, then we're not doing justice to what we do, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. So I want to talk about your co-founder. Is your wife that I read about, right? How is it having your wife as your co-founder?
So I think it was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
I think for an entrepreneur, right, going back home every day and not having to explain what is happening
Right.
is one of the biggest achievements.
Ha.
It means that you can go back
Right.
and sleep well, eat and sleep well, right?
Yes.
So that's, I think, one of the best things that could have happened in that way. And then the other thing is, we have a lot of complementary skills,
Right. That's important.
right? Coincidentally. So so what I do is I handle operations, marketing, most of the front end aspects of the business. And Ekta handles all the finance, accounting, bookkeeping, those aspects of the business, right? So it's very complementary. So the way I say it is, if I'm the face of the business, she's the backbone, right? So
Nice.
so that's how it is between us. I think
And what about disagreements?
we have disagreements. A lot of disagreements, right? So when there are people, there are disagreements.
Yes.
But these are healthy disagreements, and we've sort of come to a conclusion that we'll do what is best for the company and what is best for our members whenever there is disagreement, right?
It gives you strength also so much that she's there beside you and you are there beside her.
Correct.
That you can go scale up and do whatever you want to do together.
We have to look after each other's back, right?
So that's really good, because we've been seeing a lot of stories of couple co-founders doing well. Of course, we don't know the stories of the couple co-founders who are not doing well,
right?
But I think that's a great thing. Yeah. So when you said that, you have a very strong foundation as a co-founder with your wife, definitely there must be days when you are, or her, she must be feeling very down, like, or sometimes collectively you are down, right? Those days are so hard. And as entrepreneurs, we feel that a lot. So how do you both complement in those days?
So I think it depends on what sort of personalities you have.
Yeah.
By personality, I'm an optimist, and Ekta is a realist, because she's a chartered accountant by profession. So she sees things as they are.
Right.
And I can be optimistic and sometimes over optimistic as well. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing as well, for both of us. So I think good days and bad days everyone has, right? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, or whatever you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
From the beginning, my perspective, personal perspective, has been to take each day as a learning, right? And failure is nothing new to me. I've done 3 startups before CoKarma, which have not worked, right? And the only reason I've been able to do a 4th startup is because all of those startups I've taken as learnings. My first startup I started when I was 19, 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then it didn't work out. I gave a lot of time. I had a lot of hopes. And then, the way I look at this is, it's not you or something else which is not working. It's not you who is wrong, because you're trying to learn in the process. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's a first startup, right? The way you look at it is, you say every day when you get up, something new you have to learn.
Correct.
And it's the market that will tell you whether it will work now or later, right? And then you have to go with that.
Right.
So for us, the market told us that CoKarma is working. When we started a new space, it filled up in no time.
Right.
And it kept filling up. And that's how we kept growing. With our previous startups, it was not working because the market told us that this is probably not the right time for it. You're either way too ahead or you have to think of it differently.
Right. Holistically, as a person, you grow up also to sense what the market is saying also.
Correct.
Right.
And then you have to have that open mind.
Right.
So as an entrepreneur, you have to have that open mind that, maybe things are not working now, it'll work later. And you have to grab these learnings and use them somewhere else.
Yeah, you have to take those setbacks, right? And when you, as an entrepreneur, just you, as a person also, you feel that, it's very hard. I think I'm not able to go through it. Like I have those days, and many people have those days. How do you bounce back? What is your resilience go-to thought, or what it is?
So I don't think I have those days that I don't think this is working at all.
Okay.
But I think Ekta might have.
Right?
Ekta might have some of those days.
Yeah.
Especially with our previous startup.
Okay.
Right, because she's a realist. She can see that it is not working, and I can probably see something and say it is still probably working.
You're an optimist. You see the silver lining.
Yeah, I see the silver lining.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what happened with us in COVID as well.
Right.
I was seeing the silver lining when COVID happened as well. When COVID hit, I was like, this world is not going to end here. right? Things are going to come back to
Right.
normal someday.
Right.
And when it comes back to normal,
Right.
people will want office spaces.
Yes.
Right? And they would want flexibility.
Right.
They might want smaller spaces to start
Right.
with. And then co-working will work. So let's just hang on
Right.
for this period. So I could see the optimism there. So it works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes.
Must be hard, no? The COVID period.
It was hard. It was hard.
And everything.
But when somebody is down, right? That's why you need a co-founder.
Yeah.
That's why you need somebody who can say, okay, maybe it will work.
Right.
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 When COVID was there was a time when I was a little pessimistic. I was like, ekta ye space chhod dein kya? The rent looks very high. Maybe we should sort of leave this. But she was like, nahi, this is one of our first centers which worked out well.
Yeah.
Let's just hang in for a little bit.
Right.
That's why you need a co-founder who can tell you that there is possibility somewhere.
Yes.
That's why you need people around. You can't do it all alone.
No, you can't do
Right?
all alone.
So
yeah, when you just said you can't do it all alone, often as founders, I will say there's so lonely days. I mean, I can't explain to my friends what's happening. I can't explain to my family members what's going on because they don't get it. And you know, the people whom you talk to, it just reduces in a way, like the quality ones. They're there, but who gets us? So that time I think a community of other founders are really important. And when I saw that mixer event at CoKarma, see, there are a lot of events that keeps happening, but CoKarma does it consistently is what I really appreciate. And I actually met Head Start people, I met V Circle, you know, and you know, so many other there smaller founders who are doing just small things. You meet bigger ones for experiences. So how have you been able to weave this community around CoKarma?
So it's an experiment. One of the reasons we first started CoKarma was to be around founders and entrepreneurs, creative people. I personally like people who are creative,
right,
who create something from nothing.
Right.
So that was one of the first reasons we started. And I always wanted to do events.
Right.
When we had that first space at Himayat Nagar, we didn't have an event space.
Correct.
It always used to hurt me, we need an event space at our next space, right? So, so I think I like people. I like having people around me. I like having that creative energy around me. So we said, you know, we have a space which is free on weekends. Why not do some events there? So what we do is we collaborate with people. We collaborate with, you know, people like Ichai, Head Start, Push Start, a lot of, you know, venture capital firms that reach out to us and say they want to do their Hyderabad meetups at our spaces, right? So we found a circle is an example of that.
How did you start doing this? How was your first? You remember?
Our first event was, so when we said we have a space, somebody reached out to us and said that they wanted a space for an event.
Okay.
So we did our first few events for free for people. And that's how it started.
Right, right.
And then people saw value in it, and then people saw that these places are beautiful as well. And they're sort of central as well, so people can go there easily. So for those reasons, it sort of came to us.
Makes a lot of sense, you know, because India is seeing the new wave of angel investing, venture capitalists is also there, but a lot of early stage founders are looking for angel investors, right? A lot of syndicates there. Now there are so many people who want to invest, but it's hard to like find the right people, right?
Correct.
And also a lot of times founders are busy building their businesses. They don't know what's happening with these other ecosystem partners. So it creates a lot of sense for them to meet.
Yeah.
Right. So how has your experience been with angel investors, VCs? Because you talk to them a lot, right? How do they find your events, and maybe how do they pick up people to invest from your platform?
So I think a lot of them love it because there are very far and few platforms in Hyderabad, especially.
Yes.
And we are, you know, we are only probably one of the co-working spaces that is doing this consistently.
Right.
As you mentioned earlier, right? Apart from T-Hub that is doing
yes, of course.
Splendid job in the city. But, you know, for example, Bangalore, such events happen, you know, at scale.
Yeah, they keep happening there.
Right. So if you have one Ichai event at CoKarma every last Saturday of the month, right? They have probably, you know, 20 events happening on that same weekend in Bangalore.
Yeah.
So the scale is a lot. So the way we look at it, this is, you know, we try and do our bit.
Correct.
We say, what can we do in this ecosystem to build this? Because we have an opportunity.
Yes.
It's a double-edged sword, right? So at one side, because it is not happening, you can be one of the players doing it. And on the other side, it's an opportunity for us to build our brand
Right.
in front of founders, in front of investors, and it becomes a bridge between everyone.
Yeah.
These are, all we have to do is give our space and a little bit of a time.
Right.
Every week, right?
You're
So-
leveraging the extensions of your brand, right? It's really cool because I see a lot of emotional benefits coming out of CoKarma
Right.
as a brand strategist. I feel that it'll go really far, and people see business opportunity in co-working spaces, but you see a transforming opportunity there, not just business.
Correct.
So I really appreciate that, right? And while we speak so much about Hyderabad, its ecosystem, and we know Bangalore already has a startup culture since long, but Hyderabad is now gaining that kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
As a real estate business entrepreneur, and as an ecosystem enabler, how do you find this entire Telangana system as a ease of doing business for?
So I think our current government has done a very good job in Telangana, and Hyderabad as an ecosystem is growing and developing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But it's still very small, to be honest. There is a very small VC ecosystem, and the founder ecosystem is there, but a lot of founders from here want to go to other cities like Bangalore or Delhi, right? So because there are a lot of funding opportunities, right?
Correct.
So see, the thing at the end of the day is जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, and जो दिख रहा है उसमें invest करते हैं, right? So if an investor has a startup which they can see within their city, that's where they tend to invest.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of VC and investment, ecosystem has to develop still in Hyderabad.
Yeah. So you think we need more VCs, more investors to come and be here in Hyderabad?
Yeah, and I think we need a lot of education as well.
Right.
And that the mindset in Hyderabad still is that real estate mindset.
Yeah, that's
where,
true.
And no, and they're not wrong, right? So in Hyderabad, if you still invest in real estate, people have sort of made a lot of money in short span of time, right? So 3-5 years they've made a lot of money. So that's the mindset. It'll take a little bit of a time for that to change. It's already changing. We at CoKarma is trying to do our bit, and then TF is doing something, and then there are a couple of other players doing their bit in the city, and all of these little contributions will sort of have dominoes effect, and the ecosystem will grow.
Yeah, right. Like as a startup founder, I would say like when I wanted to open a bank account, it's so basic, but I could open a bank account like in 2 days without lot of hassle in the SBI startup specialized branch. We did the Udayam in like half an hour. We got that, right? If you want to open up a factory, you can self-declare. What I feel is that not just this, but as a woman entrepreneur, I have been welcomed in so many places. I'm not from Hyderabad, not born and brought up here, from another state. So even for us, it's very cool, right? And again, having a co-working space is...
Yeah, and I think the law and order in Hyderabad is also very good.
Yeah.
So that also helps.
It doesn't take hours and hours, like days and months to find an approval.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so approvals happen quickly, and I think the central government also plays a big role in that. They have sort of come up with a lot of support to startups and this ecosystem.
Right.
So you have to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Right.
There is this virtual office that I came across when I was looking for mine. It's such a cool thing because someone who doesn't want to just start away an office in person, they can do that. I saw that with CoKarma as well, right?
Yeah.
So how has that been for you?
Yeah, I think so. Virtual office is a product within what co-working spaces do.
Right.
So the way it works is, somebody who doesn't want to take up a large office, they can just take one seat or not have any seat, and then they can start their registration process, right? So they'll get documentation to register their company or their sort of GST and get that initial documentation, and then on the side from home or just with that 1 or 2 seats, they can sort of build their company until it gets to a certain state. So that's how virtual office works. It works with a nominal cost.
Yeah, very nominal. I remember they were charging some 2,000, 3,000 rupees a year, something like that. And a month-wise, 2,000 rupees, right? If you can spend...
Be economical, but not that economical.
I know, yeah. Because for a year, it becomes like around 10-20,000,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that's really cool.
Mm.
I would like to tell my audience that my audience are here, other founders, other ecosystem enablers, students, customers. So tell us about CoKarma. How can they come to CoKarma, start their journey at CoKarma? What's the pricing like and all of that?
So to start at CoKarma, just ring us. Just
Right.
give us a call or visit one of our centers.
Yeah.
And we would welcome you. We would show you around. We would give a tour of the space. We have a cool community. Our sort of community managers, right? They are pretty cool as well. So they'll
And
sort of
many events are free. At least the Saturday one that I attended, every Saturday one, that's a good place to start with.
Correct.
And other events are very specific, but they're good to be with.
So most of these events are free.
Right.
So people can start from there actually. People can come to one of our events, meet our community there, and then experience the centers. And then, whatever requirement they have, right? So we will be more than happy to meet that requirement. We say we are problem solvers,
right?
As a community, as a company. So if you have a problem of a space, you tell us and we'll try and solve that for you.
Great. So my last question to you here is that your high-tech city or the Raidurg center where you could see the Durgam Cheruvu from your terrace. That's a very beautiful spot. Right. But the first time when you stood there and you looked around, okay, and then you realized, okay, this is my space. What did you feel like? How far have you come? Like, what did you feel like? What was that moment like?
So to be honest, I'll tell you the story behind that center. We were doing 3 centers at the time, and the owners of that building reached out to me, saying that CoKarma is doing cool stuff. We want to partner with CoKarma and do it at that building. So I went to that building, and then I stood there. I was like, "This is a no-brainer, right? It has a lake in front of it." Yeah. And incidentally, what happened was that very same building, while I was doing one of my Kundapur centers. Right. I was driving by that road. Okay. And I stopped at that building when it was under construction. Okay. It had nothing. It just had like a slab. Okay. And pillars were getting built. Okay. I was like, it'd be amazing if I have one floor in this building because it's right in front of the lake. Right. It gives a Goa vibe. Right. And I should have something here. Yeah. And 6 months later, it manifested that they reached out to us and said, okay, they want to do a center here with CoKarma in 4 floors, not just 1 floor. Wow, that's the true power of manifestation. So that's how that building happened. Yeah. So, but as an entrepreneur, I don't still feel that I've done everything and I've arrived. There's still a lot to do.
Still, एक moment तो कभी ऐसा आया होगा, नहीं आया, कभी नहीं सोचा कि I've come. चलो ठीक है, we've done something. It's like that.
हाँ, so मतलब. See, I'll give you a story, right? So when we were doing our first startup, right, there was an incident when one of our uncles reached out to us and said, "Okay, Tarun, ye insurance policy le lo, it will cost you 5,000 rupees per year." Yeah. And I remember we discussed saying, "Ke zarurat hai kya 5,000 rupees?" We were thinking about taking a 5,000 rupees ka insurance policy at that time per year. Per year. And now we don't have to think about anything.
Of course, yeah.
Right? My car insurance would probably be like 50,000 rupees a year, right? So you get comfortable. Yeah. But there's still a lot that can be done.
Because after we get that one level, then we look at the other level. It's a lot. It's a very human thing.
Correct.
But I'm so glad you came so far. So congratulations, you come so far.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have a small gift for you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let me tell you
so
about
nice.
this.
Yeah, sure.
So these founders are from different parts of Hyderabad. Okay. This is Sumadhura. They are actually a new sweet shop come gourmet eateries in Madhapur. Their flagship store is in Madhapur. Wonderful. But the interesting story is the woman behind Sumadhura, she was like, she started a business at the age of 55. She's from a village. Started with pickles. Wow. And they are there in this place for like many years. They just recently transformed because they wanted to take her legacy forward. And you should visit their place, for right? Sure. And they've sent some healthy sweets, right? Okay, freshly made this morning. And this is Mivi. You must be knowing Mivi.
Uh-huh.
Mivi is also built in Hyderabad, right?
Okay.
So they send their 100% India manufactured buds,
Okay,
right?
wonderful.
This is Shar, and Shar is making some healthy soup dips.
Wonderful.
And this is also from an Ayurvedic doctor.
Mhm.
This is for Ekta, actually.
Okay.
Yes. And this is Basta that I've been.
I think she would like the buds as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is Basta where I'm trying to do something with reusable bags.
Wonderful.
But yeah, today's entire episode has been actually the gifting part is sponsored by Sumadhura. So shout out to them. They have some amazing stuff in Madhapur. You should reach out and have a seat there and meet the people there. Yes. So
No, this is such a kind gesture. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Sumadhura team for sponsoring this as well.
There's a card for you. I would like you to read it.
Oh, sure.
Yes, you can paste this here. So, yeah.
Nice.
It's a postcard.
Wow.
Something written for you. Yes. This is also the Miyawaki forest in Hyderabad.
Nice. Hi, Tarun. Thank you for giving your time, plus gracing us with your presence at the Storyflow. Entrepreneurship is hard, really hard. You're not just diving your own journey, but helping many other miles to go before you sleep. But look how far you've come. Congratulations. Lots of love. Humans team.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This is so nice. Wow.
My pleasure. So,
I've done interviews in podcasts before, but I think this is one of its kind. So wonderful.
Thank you. This is the Hyderabad ecosystem. People helping each other.
I feel like I'm almost on coffee with Karan. Very nice.
I know. Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you for the entire team to be helping us.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you to you guys as well.
Thank you.